station of Fox Sports.
We are La Force. We are Florida.
On a Sunday in Miami, the 2013 Miami Marlins season comes to a close against the playoff-bound American League Central champs, the Tigers. The Fish have won the first two in this series. They go for the sweep, try to finish the year on a high note in what has certainly been a challenging 2013. Yes, Juan Pierre is in the lineup and leading off and playing left field for the Fish. Hi, everyone. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Welcome for the final time to Miami, Marlins Park. Fish against the Tigers. It's been a challenging year, Tommy Hutton. The last two nights, though, there's been energy in the crowd. Good ball games, including a nice finish for the Marlins last night.
And an understatement from you, a challenging year it has been. But it's been fun to see this club play hard, and that's one thing Mike Redmond has kept them doing the entire season. In the ninth inning last night, Yelich with a base hit. There were some good ABs, a walk. And how about a ball hit by Logan Morrison that we all thought was going out. But then the game was tied with the base hit off the bat of Ed Lucas. All of a sudden, the Marlins had an opportunity in the 10th inning to win the game. They needed to get the big guy up there. JP with a nice bunt. He does that with perfection. How about Donovan Solano? We've talked to Donovan. He's all right. He feels much better today. Bases loaded. Giancarlo with the base hit. Marlins walk off with the win against the Tigers. So, as I said before, it's been fun watching this club play hard. They never give up. They've lost 100 games, but they have been exciting at times.
And the Marlins certainly focused on 2014. A front office shakeup, so to speak. We'll have more on that with Craig and Niner. Challenge today is Justin Verlander, and a two-part one. A challenge certainly for the Marlins to face in the Coventry Healthcare matchup a terrific right-hander, but for the Tigers, they want him to get going for the postseason.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how far Jim Leland stays with Verlander, but a guy who's been a Cy Young winner, an MVP, couple of no-hitters. 13-12 this year, not quite the same type of season. They'll have to figure out where he slots in postseason. Will it be game 1, game 2, or maybe even game 3? He goes up against Henderson Alvarez, who, as a Toronto Blue Jay, faced the Tigers one time, and he pitched very well. 7 innings, 5 hits, gave up just 1 run. Last time out, another good one for Alvarez. Last 3 starts, he's at an ERA in the 2s.
So that's the matchup. It's the Tigers and the Marlins. The Fish sending Henderson Alvarez out there, Justin Verlander to go for the Tigers. Front office shakeup, the details, press conference held just an hour ago. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine report next. and the Marlins finished the regular season. But a lot of news around the Marlins. Let's go out to Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine.
Thank you, Rich. Owner Jeff Loria releasing a statement today announcing that Dan Jennings will be the new general manager. He was the vice president of player personnel, and Michael Hill, the general manager, will assume the top duties as president of baseball operations. Jeff, you've worked with both men as an executive with the club. What do you think about the news?
Yeah, you know, everyone's sad to see Larry Beinfest go, but Mike Hill and Larry worked side by side for so many years. I think Mike Hill is going to make a tremendous president of this organization. Dan Jennings, a great baseball guy. He's been out in the field, does a lot of scouting, has seen all these players, is instrumental in a lot of the top draft picks that we have on the field right now, so I think it's going to be a good partnership.
Both Hill and Jennings addressed the press at a press conference just about an hour ago.
It's an exciting time for me. It's a challenge in my mind that I've always wanted to do, is be a part of the challenge of putting a team together to win championships. It's an honor to work with Mike. Mike and I go back to 1995.
I am the president of baseball operations, and Dan is our general manager, and we'll work together. I mean, I'm the senior most person in baseball operations, but we don't do anything here by ourselves.
And Mike Hill will be joining Rich and Tommy during the third inning of this game. As for the Marlins, they know where the business goes forward from this point, and that is that offense has to improve.
Offense has got to improve, and that's going to be a focus of this offseason. You know what? There's a lot of pitching chips in the minor leagues right now that they might be able to move a little bit for a bat or two.
It's going to be fun to watch JP today, too.
Yes, indeed.
Leading off for the Marlins. What could be a final time ever with the pitch. We'll see. Closing day is here, though. Final game of this regular season. Marlins trying to finish it on a 4-game winning streak. Rich and Tommy coming up with the call. We'll see you for the post game.
Brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places by AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability 1-800-PICK-AT&T. Rethink possible by Just for Men Mustache and Beard, and by Checkers. Feast on. Gorgeous Sunday, Marlins and Tigers. Anderson Alvarez, pinch man, he brings you the first pitch. And it's Don Kelly for the Tigers who takes up. The Tigers resting most of their regulars. We saw the A team last night. Marlins an extra inning win. Alvarez splits the plate with a strike, and it's 1-1. And Anderson Alvarez, his 17th start Little tapper first base side foul.
And we talked a little bit about Henderson Alvarez. Faced the Tigers last year and pitched well. Of course, he was pitching for the Toronto Blue Jays at the time and gave up just 5 hits and a run in his 7 innings.
Kelly, a guy the Marlins have seen in reserve the first 2 games of the series, takes down low. Alvarez, really for the Marlins, has had a nice year. His ERA is under 4. He's had some moments that show the promise that the Blue Jays had for him and that the Marlins wanted when they made that trade with Toronto. Echeverria, his former teammate in Toronto, makes the throw, gets the out. Here come the Tigers. Jim Leyland's ball club has won 94 games. They're headed to Oakland in the first round of the division series. Jan Lexus brings you their lineup. Don Kelly, Andy Dirks, Prince Fielder. Fielder probably for an at-bat and then will come out to keep his consecutive game streak going. Johnny Peralta in left, Omar Infante, Brian Pena behind the plate. Young Jose Iglesias at short, Ramon Santiago's at third, and Verlander will hit ninth.
I think you look at the 2 teams, Rich, different feels certainly from both clubs. The Tigers, a lot of their players, a guy like Dirks, trying to get some ABs, feel good before they go into postseason. Great job by Alvarez. We've seen him field his position like that all year.
He is an incredible athlete, both out on the field with the glove on and at the plate. Here's the defense for the Marlins today.
And why not lead to defense after a nice play? Brought to you by Cleveland Clinic. Juan Pierre in the lineup. He's in left field. Ruggiano and Stanton filling out the outfield. Coughlin at third. Echeverria, Lucas, and Lomo around the infield. And Coy Hill behind the plate. And here's the quick reactions of Alvarez. Says, okay, if I can move quickly, I'll get it on just one hop. Make it look easy.
Fielder now, a slow breaking ball hits him. And Fielder with a little bit of a grin, trying to keep from smiling on his way down to first base. 64 miles an hour with the slow breaking ball.
Yeah, it's a couple of times I think with that slow breaking ball he's actually hit a hitter. It's not what Prince Fielder was thinking about for his first AB today.
So Fielder hit by a pitch, though he's not been replaced as a pinch with a pinch runner yet. That happened on Friday night. And here's Johnny Peralta. Peralta, the focus certainly of a lot of people the last couple of days, coming back from the 50-game performance-enhancing drug suspension. Jose Iglesias was acquired. The Tigers knew it was coming, and they moved proactively and got Iglesias. That one banged into the gap, right center field, long run, and Ruggiano is there to make the catch. And the inning is over. Henderson Alvarez, a nice brief first. Scoreless. And the Fish, 61 wins now. With a win last night, J.M. Lexus brings you the starting lineup. Juan Pierre gets to start. This may be the last game of Juan Pierre's career. You're never quite sure. Ed Lucas at second, Justin Ruggiano at center, Giancarlo Stanton in right field, Logan Morrison at first, Adeiny Echeverria at short, Chris Coughlin at third base, Coy Hill will do the catching, Henderson Alvarez will hit ninth. And there's Justin Verlander. His numbers don't quite match the resume.
But you know what? 200 strikeouts, still fewer hits than innings pitched. An ERA in the mid-3s. A solid year for most, but probably a little below par for him.
And here is Pierre. And JP takes outside for Pierre at 36. Not quite sure if this is it, this last game of 2013, or if 2014 finds him on a major league roster.
And I think that certainly is something that would be going through Juan Pierre's mind today. Is this going to be my last game, or will I get an opportunity somewhere in the 2014 season? But it's been a remarkable season and career for a guy who's made the most of every opportunity and made the most of what he was given in his abilities.
Don Kelly comes in and makes the catch, and Pierre's first at bat is a fly ball to center field. Before Ed Lucas digs in, Lucas in the 2 spot, Ruggiano will follow. Here come the Tigers defensively. Big change from the first 2 nights.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, look at that defense, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic. Johnny Peralta, Don Kelly, Andy Dirks in the outfield, Santiago Iglesias, Infante, and Fielder around the infield. Brian Pena does the catching today. In his career, Rich, Verlander has been one of those pitchers that'll go the first couple of innings throwing 91, 92, 93, and actually increases his velocity as he continues on.
Oh, 0-2 to Ed Lucas. Well, the resume that Verlander has is pretty darn impressive. And it started with the Rookie of the Year award in 2006. 6 All-Star games later, a Cy Young award in 2012, an MVP in 2012. Heck, he was second in the Cy Young voting back in 2011. And a swing and a miss, and Lucas goes down.
Justin Verlander, now 30 years old. There's the scouting report. That fastball will go from 91 to 98. Kind of a slurvy slider. He's got a good changeup too. So he has 3 quality pitches. And we've talked about the 2011 season for Verlander.
Ruggiano smokes it in the gap, and it's picked on a hop by Peralta, and so a base hit. Yeah, that 2011 season when he was the MVP and won the Cy Young, 24-5 with a 2.40 ERA. Just dominant stuff. Came close again last year. Was 17-8. 4 times he has been a top 5 Cy Young Award finisher. Stanton now.
I'm wondering, and it's certainly Jim Leland's decision, if he's seen these guys pitch all year. Is he going to make his decision, say for games 2 and 3, on what he sees in this series here this weekend from Anibal Sanchez last night and how he feels Verlander throws the ball today? Or has he already made up his mind?
But we talked about it from the outset. Verlander was brilliant in the postseason in the first 2 series. He won 2 games against Oakland with an ERA of 0.56. He beat the Yankees 2-1 in Game 3. That one skips by, and Ruggiano is going to trot on to second base. And so Verlander had a lot of momentum going into the World Series, and he got the ball for Game 1, and then Pablo Sandoval came out and blasted 2 home runs against Verlander. Sandoval would hit a 3rd home run, but that was against the bullpen. And Verlander not only was out of the game early, but seemingly the Tigers were out of the World Series.
So as you said, he got Pablo'd, or he got Kung Fu'd.
And a fastball rides in at 95, and he strikes out Giancarlo Stanton. So Verlander looks sharp. It's a scoreless ball game. Tigers and the Marlins. Henderson Alvarez into the 2nd inning. Omar Infante, Brian Pena, and Jose Iglesias. For the Tigers, who are headed west to Oakland. That's the most stable of matchups in the American League. They'll open up the division series on Friday night.
Yeah, they'll actually head home to Detroit for a couple of days, then head west.
And that's a rematch of last year when that series went 5 games. And it was Verlander who came out and stuck it in Oakland's ear in Game 5. Infante cracks one. Foul. Nice play by the ball boy there. It's a good scouting report.
Always good to be well positioned and then have good hands. Nicely done.
And to the bat, Ruggiano is there and makes the catch. Now, I said the Tigers and the Athletics the most stable of American League matchups. The wild card is anything but, and a lot of things can happen. If Cleveland wins, they advance, and they will be the #1 wild card team. Now, if they lose and both Tampa Bay and Texas, who are tied, win, then you've got a 3-way tie for 2 spots. Tampa Bay and Cleveland would play on Monday. The loser would go to Texas.
And to give you a quick update, Tampa Bay all over the Blue Jays in Toronto. The Rays with a 5-0 lead. They've scored 5 runs in the top of the 1st inning.
Cleveland and Minnesota begin in about a half an hour. There's a roller out to second. Lucas is there, giving Solano the day off. And a throw to first is in time. And Texas is at home against the Angels. That game is about 2 hours away from starting. That's a Jason Vargas, Yu Darvish matchup. Marlins.com, your one-stop shop for breaking news, tickets, sweepstakes, merchandise, and more. Check out the new Marlins Park seat views for an interactive 360-degree experience from anywhere. And if you pick out your seats and purchase tickets, it's never been faster or more convenient. Speaking of the breaking news on Marlins.com, you'll probably read that the Marlins at a noon press conference today announced that Michael Hill has been promoted to president of baseball operations, and that Dan Jennings has been promoted to general manager. And we will have Michael Hill with us in the booth in the third inning to talk about the reorganization in the baseball operations side of the Miami Marlins. That coming down at noon today. Ruggiero charging in, and he makes the catch on a hot smash off the bat of Iglesias. 9-pitch inning for Alvarez.
Moving, barely holding that stitch. Creases of time amongst the grime and the grit. Where the leather used to pound his fist. To some it's just a mitt, but see that glow is him.
That's a tease for the post-game season-ending rollout on Marlins Live. Macklemore with My Oh My, sort of a tip of the cap to Dave Niehaus, the Hall of Fame voice, the late Hall of Fame voice for the Seattle Mariners. Macklemore's music set to Marlin highlights and the world's most dangerous tape room doing some of their best work and ready to unveil it after the ball game. Here's Morrison and Danny Echeverria, Chris Coghlan in the second against Justin Verlander. An off-speed pitch. Morrison pops it up. Santiago. And it's 5 rows in. If you're watching this telecast from home, you can get on the internet, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, keep you up to date with the Marlins and all your other favorite Florida sports teams. Verlander is 30. Not a lot of wins in the last couple months of the season for him. Good breaking ball.
Well, I'll tell you what, he looks sharp with his changeup, with the breaking ball, and with his fastball. I'll tell you one reason, his last outing, he left the game. He should have won. He got a no decision. He went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits and no runs, and struck out 12 in Minnesota.
Here's Adeiny Echeverria. If you're wondering about Verlander against Oakland, of course he had the terrific division series last year, winning games 1 and 5. His last time out against Oakland, he got knocked around. Look out, bat broken. That's flying into the seats. And Fielder is there to make the catch. 2 outs. Oakland beat him 6-3, gave up 5 runs in just 5 innings. Back on the 27th of August, he beat Oakland back in April in Oakland and pitched well.
Boy, that bat shattered. And who would have thought, Rich, Adeiny Echeverria comes into this game, his 148th game. It's the most games played by any Marlin this year.
Here's Chris Coghlan. And Coghlan takes a strike on the outside corner. Coughlin's season has been one of trial and tribulation injury-wise. That back issue which affected his leg, his hamstring, and all of that. Seemingly behind him now. The challenge for Coghlan is to find a place to play and hit well enough that it gets him in a lineup or in a rotation where he's playing 3-4 days a week and getting at bats.
Well, that's right. And I think the challenge is to stay healthy, get the swing back, and if he hits, he'll find himself in those situations.
And Verlander nasty. He's punched out 4 in 2 innings.
And SAPS for Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
In Miami in the 3rd, the Tigers facing Henderson Alvarez. Alvarez has been good. The right-hander for the Tigers, some guy named Verlander, has been pretty good as well. Alvarez has worked 2 scoreless innings, though not nearly as dominant as Verlander, who has punched out 4 already in just 2 innings of work. And Alvarez, a little help from Fox Tracks, Randi Institute. Thanks for being a part of the 2013 season. And Ramon Santiago is quickly behind in the count, 0-2. And that one misses inside. The Marlins today holding a noon press conference. And at that press conference, continuing reorganization of baseball operations. Michael Hill has been promoted to president of the Miami Marlins. Mr. President.
Nice go.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations. I mean, for you and your career, you've done it the right way. You've come up to the ranks in the scouting area, then administratively. Leaping catch by Echeverria. out number one.
After what we've seen him do, that's pretty routine. We've seen him get higher.
It is. All right, under your administration, Mr. President, what's the first thing on your list? When you were informed that you'd been elevated to this position, Dan Jennings has been named general manager of the Marlins. What's the first thing on your list?
You mean after lunch?
After lunch.
After, no, I think that there's a lot of work to be done. No question about it. You look at this ball club, 100-loss team, but I think to a man, everyone is extremely excited about what the future holds. A great nucleus core of talented young players that we need to build around to win more games. Bottom line, that is our job. That is what we are charged to do, and we will start that process in doing so.
You know, as you take a look at, and this is a big pile of statistics we get every day, there's no secret that the struggles that the Marlins have had has been offense this year. Good young pitching staff, much improved defensively this year. How do you improve your offense for 2014?
And that's why, you know, we said earlier today, you know, we're going to look at everything, and we have to look at everything. When you have a season like the one we had this year, I think you'd be remiss if you didn't do that. But you know, the pitching, as you said, is a strength of ours, and I think that's why we are so very encouraged, because you do have a staple of young pitching already at the major league level. You have a number of quality championship caliber arms close to the major leagues, and you know, you put that with some of the position players that we have in the fold, and you're not that far away. But there's no secret. We do need to improve on our offense and our run production. And the form that comes in, I think that's what we're going to spend this offseason identifying, and where we add it and how we add it, and what we use to add it, because that, you know, it comes from all areas, and that's what we need to do.
Mike, in the shuffling of things, how will your role change to what you were doing before?
I think it's just added into what we do. Obviously, DJ coming aboard as we see the ground out there to end the inning, and I guess we'll
continue.
That's good work.
See, that's good. You've been on here before.
That's why he's the president, Tommy. For the final time, presented by the authority, the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Michael Hill, Marlins' new president, named today, is with us. All right, so really we're interrupted by another ground ball out from Henderson Alvarez. Continue, Mr. President, because we were talking about Tommy and I are all curious about 2014.
Yes, and as I started, I will echo that the future is bright, and I think we're all extremely excited because of the growth that we've seen in 2013. I think we all felt that coming into this year it was going to be sort of a transition year with the changes that were made in the offseason. We knew that you were going to see a mixing of new young players coming through our system, and they haven't disappointed. I think from a pitching standpoint, you got to see what we were so excited about as we entered the season with Jose Fernandez and Nate Eovaldi and the glimpses of Jacob Turner
and Henderson Alvarez. It's been exciting to watch.
Exactly, and you know, from a position player standpoint, the rise of Christian Yelich and Marcell Ozuna and those young guys, I think it gives us a solid footing as we start to look forward and build on a good core of talented championship caliber players, and that's ultimately where we want to get, and what we want to do is win championships here, and you need championship caliber players to do so, and I think this year allowed us to identify the players who we think we can build around, and now it's up to Dan and the rest of our staff, our minor league department, our scouts in the field, to add to what we have to continue to make improvements and get us where we want to go.
How much adding, subtracting, or reorganizing will there be in the scouting department?
It'll be, everything at this point is under evaluation, and as the season ends, we will meet and we will discuss and we will see where everything fits. But we have a good group of people working for us, very knowledgeable, talented people, and they will be a part of this as we continue to build and to eventually win more games.
So safe to say it will be a busy off season.
Yes,
starting tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow, it will be a busy off season, and you lose 100 games, and it should be, it needs to be, and there's nothing that we can't overlook as we jump into this, and it's exciting because we know we have the people to make it happen. If we don't, we'll go get the people to make it happen. It's interesting too, Mike, that you go back a ways with Dan Jennings too. You guys have worked together before. Exactly. We actually started in the front office in Tampa 19 years ago. We started together, and I can think back to those days where we talked about, wouldn't it be fun for us to one day put a championship club together, and we have that opportunity now, and he's equally excited to do so.
Michael, I know fans want to know payroll. A big cut from last year when the Marlins were up around $100 million. Any indication where that will be? Will the team be aggressive going after free agents?
Those questions are still to be determined. I think as we get into our off-season meetings and we sit down with Jeffrey and David, we get an idea of where we'll be able to go, and we'll make it work however we need to make it work.
You saw Giancarlo Stanton in the shot. That's another big question that fans are always asking. Will the Marlins make an offer, an extended offer, and try to sign Stanton?
And as I said, everything is on the table.
That's a base hit for Juan Pierre.
Very nice to see JP get a knock there. But we're going to look at everything. And as we get into the offseason, we'll obviously get more clarity. But we do know we control Giancarlo for 3 years at a minimum. He's a big part, obviously a big man and a big part of our offense and what we're trying to do here. And we know what we need to do around him, and that is what we are charged to do.
Pierre with the base hit. Lucas stands in. 2 outs, scoreless ball game, bottom of the third. Michael Hill named president of baseball operations for the Marlins. Dan Jennings elevated to general manager, which was your old title. And what type of general manager is Dan Jennings going to be?
Not nearly as handsome, I would say. No, but the relationship will be a similar one. I mean, no one in this game makes decisions by themselves, and in DJ I have an incredibly knowledgeable person who has been around the game a long time, who brings a little bit different perspective than the one that I have, and I think that's what will make this work very well. That we're different, but we will make it work, and we have made it work in the past, and we'll make it work again as we rebuild this thing.
Justin Verlander out there, 2-0 to Ed Lucas. Now, as an Ivy Leaguer, you got to take a little pride in Ed Lucas getting to the big leagues. You Harvard, and of course Ed Dartmouth.
He didn't go to the right school, but it is nice to see a fellow Ivy Leaguer in the big leagues. And you know, we talk about the season, and you know, Ed Lucas, you know, an invite to Major League Spring Training, career minor leaguer, took advantage of an opportunity when we had some injuries, and has never looked back. And I think that is a perfect example of when a young man is given an opportunity to show what he's capable of doing. His versatility in the National League is you know, invaluable, and that's something that, you know, we pride ourselves on having at the and you know, as a National League team, is to have that player who's versatile, who, you know, from the manager standpoint, from Red standpoint, you know that you can use him in any number of different ways, and he's going to do a good job for you.
Fly ball out to right. Congratulations, and
Get to work now, would you?
And we'll be watching with a lot of interest over the offseason, Michael.
No, thank you very much, guys.
Not in the lineup, getting the day off for Jim Leyland. Henderson Alvarez to work on Andy Dirks. Prince fielder Johnny Peralta to follow, and Alvarez throws a strike. Well, for Mike Hill and Dan Jennings, certainly a lot of challenges ahead in the next 4 or 5 months before spring training opens. Echeverria backhands. That smooth release onto first. 1 out.
Well, we just continue to see play after play made by Echeverria.
Alvarez to first, and fielder is a quick out. Lots of ground balls, and that's one thing that Alvarez has been able to do all year. Not only get ground balls, but keep the ball in the ballpark. Breaking ball, a strike. Marlins are on social media, several ways to connect. Go to marlins.com/connect. Full roster Marlin players on Twitter, official accounts on Instagram. A way to be a part of the Marlins social media. Johnny Peralta, a big swing and a miss.
A couple of ways, Rich, to look at things as far as keeping the ball in the ballpark. The last 5 games, the Marlins have not allowed a home run. But also the last 5 games, the Marlins have not hit a home run.
Well, Alvarez in particular, in not allowing a home run, is a huge contrast to where he was last year, both in uniform and in results. He was a Blue Jay last year, and he gave up 29 home runs. And that's a lot. This year, he's given up 2. And this is start number 17. That's going to stay in the ballpark with Lucas out, and he makes the catch. So Peralta pops out. Scoreless game. Great lease and finance deals on fuel-efficient Hondas. By Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. And by Hialeah Park Casino, a world of entertainment. Come and live it, now open. On a Sunday in Miami, the 2013 regular season closes. Justin Verlander has been dominant. 6 strikeouts in 3 innings, 2 each inning. Justin Ruggiano singled in the first. He's up for the second time. So both pitchers look sharp, Tommy Hutton. They've done it in different ways. Verlander with the strikeout. Alvarez with just a lot of bad swings and weak contact.
Well, for Henderson Alvarez, he's thrown just 40 pitches. Matt Tuiasosopo comes in to pick up Prince Fielder.
As we expected, Fielder a somewhat early exit.
And the only base runner for the Tigers in this one was that slow curveball that hit Prince Fielder.
That slider is just out. And it counts 2 balls and 2 strikes. I think for Verlander, you know, people are so used to seeing his ERA down in the mid-2s. To see it in the mid-3s is a little bit startling. He certainly is sharp on the ball-strike ratio.
Well, last year with his 17-8 record, his ERA was .264.
Misses in with a changeup. Full count at 3-2.
8 full season for Verlander out of Old Dominion.
Second overall pick back in 2004. And his breaking ball gets Ruggiano. We check in with Craig Minervini. Craig.
Thank you very much, Rich. Talking to Mike Redmond today, he said, yeah, it's a big deal for the team to win 4 of the last 5, maybe 5 out of 6. He said at times, he told me, even his own team's resilience surprised him with tough losses and those 35 one-run losses, the bounce back ability to keep a pretty good spirit about things, nobody pointing fingers. He's all very impressed with that. And as for his offseason plans, he said he'll be a football coach starting tomorrow night. His son Mookie plays for the 5th and 6th grade team back home in Spokane. And 11 years old, he's going to get ready for some football tomorrow. And Mike said they were going to give him till Tuesday, but he said, I'll be ready. I'll have the plane flight, and I'll be ready to just say, go tackle somebody. Nothing too sophisticated from the football standpoint, guys.
Here's a 1-1.
Not going to have the Belichick offense implemented. Nothing like that.
I don't think Red played a whole. I'm not sure, but I think we had a discussion, and Red was just a baseball guy once he got into high school and college. Obviously, a terrific career at Gonzaga University in Spokane by fastball.
Hey, you mentioned, Rich, just to show you how this is not an exact science, you mentioned that Verlander, first round, he was the 2nd player chosen. The first player chosen that year by the San Diego Padres, Matt Bush.
That didn't turn out too well.
Did not turn out too well.
For both the Padres and for Bush. He ran into a lot of trouble off the field.
Off the field. I think they switched positions on him, too.
Full count, 3-2. Outside corner, Stanton goes down. Tell you what, Verlander already with 8 strikeouts in this ballgame. From America's #1 pregame show comes the all-new Fox Football Daily, featuring an all-star lineup of experts and NFL legends. Get everything you love on Sunday every day of the week. Fox Football Daily, weeknights, 6 Eastern on America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1. Morrison goes after a fastball, launches it in the air, shallow left. Peralta makes the catch. Still scoreless in Miami. We're back after this sports injury prevention message from Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Eight times. Twitter poll, AT&T Uverse. Will Miguel Cabrera win his 2nd straight American League MVP award? Hashtag Miggy with it. Hashtag not Miggy. I'm Miggy with it.
I'm getting Miggy with it.
I think Miguel Cabrera is the most valuable player in the American League. Who's your MVP in the National League? Because that's a
You know, I really pondered. There's a couple I think it's going to come down to two. I went with Freddie Freeman, but I think another good choice, and I think who will probably win it is Andrew McCutchen. But both have meant a lot to their ball clubs.
I'll go with McCutchen. I think a guy that should get some talk and some consideration is Matt Carpenter of the St. Louis Cardinals. There's a couple of titles up for grabs in the National League today. Home runs. The home run leaders Paul Goldschmidt and Pedro Alvarez are stuck at 36. Stolen bases. Gene Segura at 44. E.Y. Jr. at 44. Paul Goldschmidt's going to win the RBI crown. He's got 124. Jay Bruce at 109 is second. Looks like Michael Kadire will win the batting title. Came in at 333. Chris Johnson at 321. Johnson last night, after getting thrown out on a close play at first, came into the Braves dugout, fired his helmet, and hit Terry Pendleton. And Pendleton grabbed Johnson with two hands by the shirt, shook him, and apparently that was the result of not only last night, but Johnson's tirades throughout the season. Here's the 0-2.
Yeah, it was kind of an ongoing thing from what we heard. Too many helmets flying into the ankles and shins of first base coach Terry Pendleton.
Omar Infante, a fly ball out. That seemed like the longest at bat that Alvarez has faced. And here's Brian Pena now with Jose Iglesias right behind him.
This is where I think it's really tough for a ball club such as the Tigers. The Marlins have held the Tigers just 3 runs in this series, and all of a sudden they're going to have until Friday to try to tune it up again, and that's really hard to do in this game. And I would guess somewhat of a concern for Jim Leyland.
I think the other concern is the last time they faced Oakland, Oakland came in and owned them in Detroit, and that was a big statement by Oakland, and that was part of Oakland's big surge in August and September. Pena lines out. Time now for the Just for Men mustache and beard play like a champ profile. Consecutive game streak. Prince Fielder has extended his. Hunter Pence.
Always nice to have country breakfast too on a chart.
On a Sunday.
Yeah, on a Sunday. Yeah.
Billy Butler.
Some grits probably involved.
That was one of the highlights of the year, I think. Going to Kansas City, meeting country breakfast. Echeverria safe. Etch is going to get an error on that one.
Boy, he's made so many tremendous plays. I guarantee he's upset with himself. He's been steady. He had that one little month, I believe it was August, he made 6 or 7 errors. Just didn't feel that one cleanly. And even if he did make a throw that Lomo handled, I think Iglesias had it beaten. Yeah, he did.
You know, if Iglesias doesn't have it beaten, the error goes to Morrison. I mean, you watch that video, if Iglesias is just a quarter of a step slower, it's Morrison's error because the throw was on the money.
By the way, it was great for all of us to see when I walked in the clubhouse. One of the first guys I saw was Donovan Solano walking around, said he felt fine, just not in the lineup today. But after taking that fastball, 95-mile-an-hour fastball in the helmet last night, there was a lot of concern.
There were 2 reminders of how dangerous this game could be last night. One was the shot that Nathan Eovaldi, you want to say he caught it, but it was that liner off the bat of Prince Fielder, 103 miles an hour off the bat. Eovaldi did catch it, but it literally was hit right into his glove, which was up around his chin. Henderson Alvarez is cruising here. Tigers still don't have a hit against Henderson Alvarez. FPL scoreboard, the wild card scramble in the American League. Tampa Bay off to a quick start and a 6-0 lead against Toronto. Cleveland and Minnesota. That is moments away from starting in Minnesota. And then the Angels and Rangers an hour later in Arlington. Well, Verlander has dominant stuff, but it's the Tigers that don't have a hit in this ball game. Hernan Perez is at second, and he'll come in for Omar Infante.
Verlander, Rich, has struck out 8. He has struck out 2 in each inning, each of the first 4 innings, and no walks.
And Chavarria, Coughlin, and then Coy Hill. And Etch steps out.
If I were to tell you that third on the Marlins this year and runs batted in is Echeverria, you might not believe me, but he is.
Which I think, rather than a pat on the back for Echeverria, is more of an indictment of Miami's lack of offense and production from guys that they had hoped for, just guys that they don't have.
Yeah, leading the club in that department. Giancarlo has 62 RBIs. Luciano with 50. And Echeverria with 42.
There's Chris Coughlin now. Well, Verlander looks comfortable out there. He's thrown just 52 pitches. Alvarez has thrown just 52 pitches. Coughlin a strikeout victim in the second. In case you missed it, we did visit with Michael Hill, who was named president of baseball operations for the Marlins. Dan Jennings has been named general manager. Next inning, Dan Jennings will join Craig Minervini. Michael Hill essentially telling us that it's no secret the Marlins need offense, and they are evaluating every aspect of their baseball operations department and trying to figure out where to find that offense. From the outside, from the inside, international scouting. Mike Redmond certainly would love to have a few more bats next year.
Wouldn't he, though?
The hardest thing to acquire by trade, by draft, by international signing is quality pitching. And Miami has that. They've got it here at the big league level. They've got more arms on the way. So that part of the puzzle they've got solved. Season tickets for 2014 available with a deposit on a Marlins season ticket plan. Take advantage of flexible and easy payment options. Best seats are available, and you can enjoy all the benefits of season ticket rewards plus programs. Make sure you have the best seats in the ballpark. Marlins in 2014, 1877 Marlins. Coughlin at first. Here's Coy Hill. One of the hardest things to acquire in baseball is a frontline catcher who gives you both defense and offense. Those are very rare. There are guys that are very good defensively and so offensively that are everyday catchers. There are guys that are really good offensively and not so good defensively that are everyday catchers.
And then you have the Evan Gattises, who play a little outfield, little catch, who, by the way, hit a home run today. His 21st.
There are two catchers in this division who apparently will be free agents. neither ball club, the Braves or the Phillies, have made much noise or movement to re-signing Brian McCann or Carlos Ruiz. Coghlan's running on a 2-1 pitch, and Hill fouls it back. Obviously, that's the free agent route. In terms of trading for an everyday catcher, you almost need to either identify a guy that is in an organization where they've already got somebody, or in that type of organization, someone who's established and that organization has another one on the way. And Hill swings and misses and strikes out. They'll bring Alvarez up. Alvarez has had a really good year offensively, but he struck out against Verlander as well. 9 strikeouts for Verlander. All right, Marlins Live, driven by your South Florida Honda dealer. The pregame edition will come up on the 31st of March, opening day. It's the Marlins and the Rockies. There'll be no Todd Helton there, which will be odd. Andy Dirks makes the catch, and the Marlins are done in the 5th. Henderson Alvarez back out there. Scoreless game. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, Rich, thank you very much. Pleased to be with Dan Jennings. What a great day for him and the Marlins. Named general manager. That's got a great ring to it. There's only 30 of these jobs, Dan. I know you appreciate being a longtime baseball man.
I do, Craig. It's really a special day for me and my family. And just like you said, there's 30 of these jobs out there. But to be a part of this organization now going on 12 years and to have Jeffrey and the organization trust myself and Mike to go in this capacity and move forward, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a good challenge, but one that we look forward to.
And here we go. You get right to it. Every fan will look at the Marlins and say, boy, the pitching's been better than we thought maybe. The defense has been outstanding. You mentioned this in the press conference. It's been the offense scoring just 3 runs a game. Does that make it any easier to improve? And is it as simple as saying if we can get our offense better, we're right back?
Well, I think one thing that this team has done, it has identified some strengths and weaknesses on its own. You know, if you look at the positives, they, for me, outside of the win-loss column, and that's truly what matters most, but we've done quite a few things very positive. You look at our pitching, you look at our defense, how many of these games we've played in 1 and 2 runs, and, you know, we've lost a lot of 1-run games. I tip my hat to Red and his staff for the effort that these kids play with every night. It's a never say die attitude. Those things are big going forward, and we knew this year coming in this was going to be a transitional year. And when you have those years like that with a new manager, young kids, so many rookies in the major leagues, this is an unforgiving league to learn in, and our kids have learned some valuable lessons that'll help us going forward.
Justin Verlander 0 for 24 in his career, nearly got his first major league hit as we watch this at bat and talk with general manager Dan Jennings. Is there, as he strikes out here, a first or second order of business that you're going to get to right away? And on that offensive question, do you think the help will come from the outside and within?
That's part of the business. What Mike and I will do now is we'll sit down and evaluate where we are at the major league level, who we feel like are keepers as we move forward, look internally at our young kids coming through our system, and then we have to decide, okay, we have a surplus of this is our strong area. Do we need to trade and move some of these chips to shore up an area where we may have weaknesses? And for us, that's the fun part of the business. That's what you do, and you hope you find the right mix and right chemistry that leads to a winner.
A second out here in the fifth as we close with you, Dan. Do you get any time off now?
No, I think you know when you reach certain levels in this game, quite honestly, Craig, there's no time off. And that's really the fun of it. You know, you never know when you're going to find the next guy that helps you. You look at some of these teams that are playoff bound right now. You look at Pittsburgh, you look at Oakland, Tampa, Cleveland. These teams are doing it with a lot of blue-collar guys that have savvy, they have heart. You know, it's not always about the money that equates to wins. And I look out here and I go, okay, the record is not what you want. It's unacceptable. But at the same time, if you take the positives from it, there's strong things that you can build on going forward that's going to set a great foundation and have a lot of positive things to come.
I think those who watch the Marlins would agree with you this year closely. Thanks, Dan, and good luck, okay?
Thank you, Craig. Thanks for having me.
Dan Jennings, new general manager for the Marlins. Richard, Tommy, back to you.
All right, thank you, Craig. Nice job there. Terrific job by Henderson Alvarez. The Tigers do not have a hit through 5 2/3 innings. Chopper, third. In time, Coughlin, 6 no-hit innings by Henderson Alvarez here in Miami in a scoreless game. That's coming up on Marlins Live post game. Sad to see the sea creatures go.
And I think they're aware of the shift at the higher levels with Mike Hill as president now of baseball ops, and Dan Jennings.
They know that in Atlanta the bucket is a free agent.
Yeah, they know they have to bring their best every game.
Chorizo has been talked about on the trade market. You could probably get a couple pierogies for the starfish, or the seahorse, excuse me. Maybe there will be a starfish next year.
Teddy would be tough to come by.
I would go for the bucket. That would be my #1 priority.
Well, you have to think big. You have to think big.
Here's Juan Pierre. Pierre singled his last time up, and a fastball rides high. Spotlight player. He was a terrific basketball player growing up in Mobile, Alabama, but of course baseball was the first love.
I can picture JP hitting off that parking cone though and working on his game.
Iglesias is there, and he makes the catch. And so Pierre 1 for 3 and an out here in the 6th inning. Couple of Tiger arms. Doug Fister is up, and Jose Veras getting ready as well. Bottom 6. Ed Lucas is up. This kind of typifies the entire season for the Marlins. Here on a day where Henderson Alvarez has not given up a hit in 6 innings, the Marlins don't have a run.
Well, the Marlins have won 4 of 5. And just in their last 4 games, they've won 3 of 4. And they've won by scores of 3-2, 3-2, and 2-1. So that pretty much typifies the entire season.
Lucas takes a breaking ball up the middle, and Iglesias kicks it. And into center field it goes. Lucas a big turn. That one was a case where it almost looked like Iglesias was caught between reaching or diving. We'll see if it's a base hit.
And it's going to be a base hit. Why not? Not an easy play. Iglesias would like to make that play, but he doesn't. And Ed Lucas gets a base hit.
There's Ruggiano now. So while Alvarez has gone 6 no-hit innings, Verlander has struck out 9 in just 5 1/3.
In what looks like could be his last inning of work. He's just gone over 70 pitches, 72 pitches now for Verlander.
So a week off for the Tigers, so to speak. Friday, their series opens against Oakland. Oakland won 4 of the 7 meetings. The Tigers won 2 of 3 in Oakland. Oakland won 3 of 4 in Detroit.
So what's your gut, Rich, for the rotation of the Tigers? Where do you think Jim Leland slots Verlander?
I think he slots Verlander 2. I think Anibal Sanchez is 3.
And I agree with you. I think, first of all, he's been there. He's not going to open it up because Scherzer had such a great year. And then the other thing I factor into that is that Sanchez has really pitched well in Detroit at Comerica Park.
A pitch in. 1-2. Alvarez is not one of those guys that cloisters himself and keeps himself away. He's much like Jose Fernandez. He's been chatting it up, and that is actually a relief to teammates in this situation, because guys try to avoid pitchers who haven't given up a hit, and he hasn't for 6 innings.
So he's helping things out.
Yeah, he's a man of the people. Count 2-2. Playoff rotations oftentimes get jumbled as you go from one series to the next. Remember, they needed Verlander to pitch Game 5 against Oakland last year. That meant he wasn't able to pitch against the Yankees until Game 3. And he beat them 2-1, by the way.
And obviously teams like Detroit, teams who have clinched it, they can kind of set things up that way. But the teams like the Rays, like Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, they may not be able to do that.
Speaking of which, Cleveland has a 2-0 lead in Minnesota in the bottom of the first. Nick Swisher with a 2-run homer. That's a deep drive to center. Kelly should have room and makes the catch. There are very few balls that we've seen get out in straightaway center in 2 years of baseball here.
Now Rugiano hits this ball really hard and really far, but he also realizes where he plays, and it's not going to get out to straightaway center field.
But when they opened Comerica Park in Detroit, there were a lot of Tigers that had the same reaction. It was enormous, and it still is a very big ballpark. It underwent a bit of a remodel when they shortened from center field all the way into left.
Didn't the Tigers bring in Juan Gonzalez from the Rangers, who was used to hitting in Texas,
which was
and absolutely hated hitting in Detroit?
Yes. Yeah, it took the Tigers a while to really get going when they opened their new ballpark. They were not real good for
2000, first year, Comerica.
I should know. I was there, and
I believe it was.
They played the first game, and it was like 30 degrees with a wind chill down in the 20s. They opened against Seattle.
2000, April 11th.
What was the temperature? Is it listed there? Breaking ball and a strike.
It says very cold.
It was. I'm here to tell you. Henderson Alvarez comes back for the 7th. Tigers still without a hit. Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. And Danny Echeverria up the ladder to get the catch that reminds us of almost the same catch, a little more spectacular because his feet came out from under. This time he stuck the landing. That was last road trip.
I think he had to go up a little bit higher on that Kodiashi line drive in Philadelphia.
Now the Tigers did not put their A team out on the field to start this ball game as Tuyasa Sopo takes a strike. He's hitting in Prince Fielder's spot. Fielder had 2 at-bats. Fielder was hit by a pitch in the first and bounced back to the mound in the 4th. Alvarez has worked quickly. He's pounded the strike zone. There have not been a lot of good swings or solid contact from the Tigers so far. And Alvarez unlike Verlander, who's just blown hitters away, Alvarez has just one strikeout.
One of the harder hit balls in this game in the second inning. Iglesias lined out to center field.
Verlander 10 strikeouts in 6 innings. Struck him out. Breaking ball. Tuiasa Sopo caught looking. And Alvarez has an out here in the 7th. And here comes Johnny Peralta.
Well, it's a nice pitch. It's a pitch he uses sparingly, but it really is a good pitch to right-handed hitters because it keeps them honest. That was the front door.
Jim Leyland has Peralta in the lineup more so for getting him another game in left field as to obviously keep his bat going. He has looked like he has not missed a beat from the 50-game performance-enhancing drug suspension. He swung the bat very well in this series. The concern for the Tigers is, can he acclimate and play an adequate left field in the postseason? He's 0 for 2. He's flied twice to center field.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the way he has swung the bat would not hurt him or hinder him getting in the lineup. It would be if he can play left field, if they think he can play left field or not.
The 2-1. Fastball in. First 2 games of the series. Miguel Cabrera has been in the lineup. Cabrera a couple hits on Friday and a couple hits last night. Jim Leyland was actually going to rest Cabrera Friday, let him play Saturday, Sunday. Cabrera asked to play Friday and have Sunday off. In the air to right, and Stanton is under it, and there are 2 outs here at the top of the 7th. A 23-year-old Venezuelan, Henderson Alvarez, has not given up a hit to the Tigers. And here is Hernan Perez, his first at bat. Omar Infante started the game. He had 2 at bats. He lined to center. That was back in the 2nd. That was a well hit ball and then flied out back in the 5th.
It's one thing that we've really enjoyed watching Henderson Alvarez. He always has a nice pace out there. Doesn't waste a whole lot of time.
He's made some real progress. He had the shoulder issue in spring training, and Alvarez really is turning into a ground ball guy. Pitches well in this ballpark, to this ballpark. He's very much a here it is, hit it kind of guy. Doesn't nibble a whole lot.
And I think that is a credo that every starting pitcher, every pitcher should take in this ballpark. Go right after him. Here it is, hit it. There's a lot of room out there.
Slow breaking ball, popped to shallow right. Giancarlo Stanton. Henderson Alvarez has a no-hitter through 7 innings on the final day of 2013 in Miami. Scoreless game still.
Park Casino, abierto ahora.
Scoreless game in Miami on a day where Henderson Alvarez has not given up a hit to the Detroit Tigers. We say hi for the final time to Cookie and Joe.
Hey, Tommy and Richie, how you guys doing?
Good, good. Okay, 2013. What's your best memories, guys, of 2013? What's the positive that you take out of this season?
You know, I don't remember anything that happened. Nada. No, I think it was great. You know, the new ballpark, as you know, when we opened the stadium here, and you see this stadium packed with people, and we just have a lot of young people that came over and going to take a little time to develop, and I think we're going to have some good ball players in the future, and definitely, you know, a lot of things that you're seeing. Echevarria showed a top, a kid that is going to play there for the next 15, 20 years, and Yeli's coming up and doing a good job. And the acquisition of Jose Fernandez, I think it paid off high dividends. I think he is the #1 now for many, many years to come. And we miss Osuna too. I think is another big prospect that is showing a lot of class and a lot of ability to play here. And next year he's going to show a lot of what he can do. So I think the future looks good, and being part of it, it's always great to be here and enjoy this game.
Doug Fister into the ball game for the Tigers.
Yeah, here's a part of that equation of that starting rotation of the Tigers that we haven't talked a whole lot about. Here's a guy that won 14 games this year, 14-9, a nice 368 earned run average, 32 starts. Pitched over 200 innings. So just another one of those solid 4 that Jim Leyland has to offer. So he's going to get Fister some work here.
Well, I think exactly what he's doing in the last couple of days is using his bench and giving him an opportunity to get some times at bat, because it's going to be important, especially in the American League with the DH, and giving their pitching staff the chance to throw some innings. They don't start until a week, next Friday. So it's going to take a little time to adjusting, and I think throwing some of these pitchers out and keep their arm in shape is great. Although I think it's going to be only 3 pitchers that he's going to be using in the playoff, which will be Searcher, it will be Aníbal Sánchez, and then of course Verlander, and then the rest of them probably go to the bullpen.
Jim Leyland, you saw that change with Nick Castellanos out in left field. Fister misses outside.
Castellano is a good young player here from Miami, and originally he was signed as a third baseman, and then they moved him to the outfield, and he had a good campaign this year in minor leagues.
Yep, another local product makes good, and he's on his way in after this pop-up, and he'll make the catch. All right, guys, thank you for a terrific 2013. We'll see you next year.
So same to you guys. Enjoy the work.
Always good to talk to you guys. Thanks.
Same, Tommy. Have a good winter.
Doug Fister taking over for Justin Verlander. Verlander, his final line, just in case you're curious, as far as him tuning up: 6 innings, 6 shutout innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. And here's Adeiny Echevarria.
That's a pretty good tune-up.
Echevarria fouls it off. He has popped out twice in this ball game. Henderson Alvarez is throwing a gem, but the Marlins don't have a run yet, and that is a growing concern as the game gets a little bit later. And now you've got another quality arm out there in Fister. The Marlins have already seen 6 innings of Verlander.
And a guy who, you know, Leyland may leave out there for more than just the 1 inning, because he looks at him as one of his starters who he might want to stretch out a little bit.
Fister out of Fresno State, California, Fresno State University in California.
Uses all 4 pitches. Good sinker when he keeps the ball down.
He had that dynamite second half in 2011 when he was 8-1 with a 1.79 ERA in 11 starts for the Tigers. And Fister finishes off Echeverria. Marlins have struck out 11 times now. Chris Coghlan now. Coghlan has struck out and he has walked. Marlins winning the first 2 of this series. Coghlan smokes it into left field, a base hit. A 2-out single, and here comes Coy Hill. He has punched out twice. Hill goes after the first pitch, lifts it in the air, shallow right center, late start by Dirks, and an over-the-shoulder catch by Perez bails out his right fielder. Marlins, the Tigers and the Pirates with 4. Toronto's got 3. 7 have a couple. And so here's Anibal Sanchez watching this. He's the last Marlin to throw a no-hitter.
And watching his countryman, also from Venezuela.
And of course, Sanchez had a lot of close calls as well. He threw the no-hitter in 2006 against the Diamondbacks. He threw 3 one-hitters as a Marlin. So there were many nights where he had no-hit stuff and came a slow roller away from pitching a second no-hitter. Brian Pena, Jose Iglesias, Ramon Santiago, and Alvarez misses outside with a breaking ball.
Every once in a while, Henderson Alvarez will just flip up that slow breaking ball. Then he throws that hard, heavy two-seamer.
Pena getting the start. Alex Avila has been behind the plate for the first 2 games of this series. Avila this year hitting just .228. It's been a struggle for him offensively. Pena, when he has played, has hit. Average right around 300. Strokes a ground ball to second. Gobbled up by Lucas. 1 out in the 8th. Cold hard fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Fastest game time. Marlins in the National League. tied with the Washington Nationals. This one moving right along. And a breaking ball to Nick Castellanos. Castellanos in Jose Iglesias' spot. With the Tigers shifting Peralta to short. There's a roller wide of first. Morrison. Alvarez is there. 2 outs in the 8th inning.
This brings back memories, Rich, as a teenager in Southern California, and people would start getting on the phone and they'd say, hey, Koufax has a no-hitter going and it's in the 7th inning, and then the next question would be, but are the Dodgers winning? Because they didn't score in the early 60s.
The Marlins haven't scored in 2013 at all. Historically low numbers. Batting average, on base percentage, runs scored. And it's been a young pitching staff as Santiago is up that Alvarez has been a part of. Jose Fernandez certainly has anchored. No one has had run support. Nathan Eovaldi, who pitched so well last night. Rick Porcello in the bullpen. 1-1 pitch.
The bottom line, you can say what you want. Yes, the Cabrera's fielder was in early. The regular lineup isn't in, but the guys that are out there for the Tigers today are guys that Jim Leyland will depend on in certain situations in postseason, like a Santiago, like a Dirks.
Well, I mean, in the lineup, Peralta at 305, Infante 319, Pena 301, Iglesias 305. Guys that have had decent years. Strike 3 called. Henderson Alvarez has a no-hitter through 8. The problem is the Marlins haven't scored him a run yet. Anderson Alvarez will lead off the inning. Now Alvarez can get it done with the bat. Our AT&T U-verse rewind. Remember this? 3-run homer at Wrigley Field. He's had a terrific year swinging the bat. His slugging percentage over 500. And so here is Alvarez with a crowd. A nice ovation. He'll stand in, and it's Rick Porcello he faces. 6 innings of Justin Verlander. An inning of Doug Fister, and now Porcello.
Well, it's one of the things that Jim Leyland said he was going to try to do, get Porcello a couple of games out of the bullpen in this series. He got him in Friday night. Here he is again today.
Alvarez nearly tore himself in 2, and he has to readjust just about everything after that swing. The count is 0-2. The home run at Wrigley. He's also doubled 3 times. He's driven in 6 runs this year. Wow. Chris Guccione said that's a swing, and Alvarez heads to the dugout. It's close, but you know what? It's the last day of the season.
You know what? On a pitch in like that, it's really hard to lay off of.
Miami has struck out 12 times. Pfister got a strikeout. Now Porcello has a strikeout. And here's Pierre playing at what might be his last major league game. Juan Pierre, who I think if you associate Pierre with any team in his career, it's the Marlins. This is only his 4th season as a Marlin.
Well, one of the reasons in the 3 years World Championship year, Juan Pierre played every game. He did not miss a game. 614 stolen bases.
Save the date, 2014 Marlins winter warm-up presented by Metro PCS at Marlins Park on a Saturday, February 15th. Single game tickets for the season available. And of course, you can select seats for season ticket and mini plans, autographs from Marlin players, and more. Go to marlins.com for more information. Ed Lucas. So 2 outs. Miami has just 4 hits. The Tigers, of course, don't have a hit. On a brilliant day by Henderson Alvarez, with this game looking like it's headed to the 9th, and no runs on the board.
Alvarez at a very economical 86 pitches too.
Lucas went, and it's 2-1. And that's significant for a couple reasons. It shows you how well he's been pitching and how he's pounded the strike zone. But say the Marlins don't score here and don't score in the 9th, and he still hasn't given up a hit, you could bring him out for the 10th.
Hey, you're thinking just like me.
But a long way to go before that decision has to be made. Lucas can't hold up on another good fastball by Porcello. And Miami goes down 1-2-3. Henderson Alvarez, 8 no-hit innings. Heads out for the 9th.
Pitching, pitching, and pitching. Justin Verlander in this game in his 6 innings, a little bit of a tune-up, 10 strikeouts, no runs. How about Henderson Alvarez? Helps himself always with good plays. There really hasn't been a lot of balls squared up. A couple of balls early in the game. There was a nice leaping catch by Adeiny Echeverria. And we're at this point, no score. The Tigers have yet to get a hit off Henderson Alvarez.
8 no-hit innings. In the pitcher spot, Alex Avila is going to pinch hit, and Alvarez throws a strike to the outside corner. Miami hasn't scored. Obviously, the Tigers haven't scored, and Avila a couple hits in this series. Tigers hope that the bat sparks to life as they head to Oakland to open up the division series. Bouncer back to Alvarez, who has it and fires to first to get the out. 1 out in the 9th.
It's nice, giving the crowd a little something to cheer about here on the last day of the season. Always finishes in a nice fielding position.
Don Kelly. Alvarez again. Flips it to first.
Pickett, Henderson, Pickett.
2 down in the top of the 9th in a scoreless game. 8 2/3 of no-hit ball from Henderson Alvarez.
The reactions and leaping ability of Adeiny Echeverria from Alvarez.
Crowd on their feet in Miami, and the oddity here as Alvarez faces Andy Dirks.
"13 ground ball outs."
Here's the 2-0 pitch. It's out. Alvarez conceivably could get this out, or if he walks him another out, walk off the mound and not know if he's pitched a no-hitter or not in a scoreless game. And he walks Dirks. Here comes Tuiasa Sopo. So it's a real odd feeling here in Miami. Yes, Henderson Alvarez at 93 pitches has not given up a hit, but the Marlins haven't scored a run.
First walk of the game, the other 2 base runners, a hit batter and an error.
And a pitch count low enough that if needed, he could come out and pitch the 10th. Breaking ball is out. Tuiasa Sopo came in for Prince Fielder. Fielder had a couple of at-bats. The big right-handed hitter out of the Seattle area, great football family, is 0 for 1. Swing and a miss. 95 miles an hour.
Just as an example, Rich, last time out for Alvarez against the Phillies in 7 innings, he threw 109 pitches.
Not many times in baseball history has a pitcher gotten to this point, finished the 9th, having not given up a hit, and not been able to jump into the arms of his teammates. If Alvarez gets Tuiasa Sopo, it's business as usual. It's 9 no-hit innings, but it's not a no-hitter because the Marlins haven't scored a run, at least not yet. That one fouled back to the screen. And now the crowd just trying to get him through the 9th. Full count, 3-2, and that's going to start Dirks from first base. And it was down. Ron Kolpa is behind home plate, and he's had a good day. Full count, runner on the move. Alvarez to Tuiasa Sopo. He got him, struck him out. 9 no-hit innings, but no no-hitter yet. Henderson Alvarez has gone 9. The Tigers don't have a hit, but Miami doesn't have a run. To the bottom of the 9th in Miami in a scoreless game. A no-hitter for 9 innings, but he doesn't have the no-hitter. The Marlins need to score a run for him to get it. And an odd scene, Alvarez in the dugout, 9 no-hit innings in his back pocket. But it's a scoreless game. And the Marlins will send Justin Ruggiano, Giancarlo Stanton, and Logan Morrison to the plate. This could be a walk-off no-hitter, as odd as that sounds.
I'll tell you the other odd thing. First of all, this is the best part of the lineup. If you were thinking about trying to score, this is it. The other odd thing, no activity in the Marlins bullpen.
Luke Peconin is in for the Tigers. There's no activity in the bullpen, but they're up. Little tapper towards short. That's Peralta there, and his throw is in time to get Ruggiano. Bullpen's up. They want to see.
Yeah, they're not warming up. They're just up.
23-year-old Venezuelan has been brilliant today. 9 no-hit innings. But just like the entire 2013 season, Miami scuffling to score runs. And Stanton takes outside. Stanton has not looked good today. The Marlins have seen great pitching. They've seen Justin Verlander, who punched out 10, Doug Fister, Rick Porcello, and now Peconin, who takes over for the Tigers in the 9th. And Stanton with a swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. I guess if you're rooting for a walk-off no-hitter, this isn't a bad guy to have at the plate.
This is a guy you'd like to be rooting for.
And Stanton looks like a guy that's all too eager to end it. One, two. It's up. 24 home runs for Stanton. An injury-filled season. Morrison waits on deck. 2-2 is out. And so the count full out, 3-2. We'll see if Stanton gets something to hit. Henderson Alvarez watches. 9 no-hit innings. But as of yet, no-hitter. 3-2. Stanton drive to center field and a base hit. And Miami has a base runner. Morrison to the plate.
Marlins with 5 hits, 5th single of the day. This one struck sharply on the line, and with the outfield playing deep, there was no way anybody. Don Kelly in center field, very deep.
A frustrating year for Logan Morrison, coming off of his 2nd knee surgery. Spent the first 2 months on the disabled list. Morrison up the middle into center field, base hit. Stanton around second. He'll stop there. Kelly has it. And Henderson Alvarez is a base hit away from a no-hitter.
Good job of hitting by Stanton, by Logan Morrison. Pretty good job by Kelly, too. He was playing so deep, he had to come and get that ball quickly to keep Giancarlo from going first to third. I guarantee he was thinking about that. But as he peeked over his shoulder, he saw Kelly get to that ball in a hurry.
Back-to-back hits. Adeiny Echeverria is 0 for 3. He's not had good swings. He's popped out twice and struck out. Stanton, the winning run at second. 1 out. Echeverria fouls it off. Just a surreal feel at Marlins Park. Henderson Alvarez has thrown 9 no-hit innings, but doesn't have the no-hitter.
The Marlins, if they can score a run, would get him the no-hitter. 0-1 pitch. In the dirt, and Pena knocks it down.
Rich, I've been in this game 49 years, and I've never seen this scenario. It has happened. Pedro Martinez a few years ago, quite a few years ago, took a no-hitter to the 10th inning after throwing 9 no-hit innings.
Alvarez has more in the tank. He could come out and pitch the 10th if need be. Echeverria fouls it back and out of play.
June 3rd, 1995, Pedro Martinez gave up his first hit in the 10th inning.
Luke Buchanan, fourth to work for Jim Leland on the final day, 2013 regular season. 1-2. Pena knocks it down. Stanton on the move.
Great jump by Stanton.
And Morrison follows 90 feet away from the no-hitter.
Stanton was on the move when that ball hit the ground. It was so far in front of home plate. He got a great read and a tremendous jump. Watch this. There he goes.
And now the tension grows. And the very real possibility of Miami's 5th no-hitter. The man that threw the 4th no-hitter in Marlins history is in the park, Anibal Sanchez. Marlins saw plenty of him in this series. Adeiny Echeverria with a count 2-2. Henderson Alvarez has gone 9 no-hit innings. 90 feet away is the winning run, which would secure the no-hitter. Infield in. 2-2. Ground ball up the middle. Stanton holds. Peralta to first, and Echeverria is out. 2 outs.
We have a much different angle than Stanton has at third. When you have a tall pitcher out there, you have a chopper back at the mound. The last thing you want to do is go have the pitcher field it, throw you out at the plate. By the time it got over his head, because the infield was in, they were able to make the play at first base.
2 things to think about here. Coughlin hit a seed of a line drive for a base hit his last time up, and Buchanan has already bounced 2 in the dirt. 1 a wild pitch. Swing and a miss. A 94-mile-an-hour fastball. A base hit means a no-hitter. If Buchanan can get Coughlin out, Alvarez would come out and pitch the 10th. Oh, 1 pitch. It's out.
And you have to think about the emotions running through Henderson Alvarez. If he has to go back out for the 10th inning.
One to Coughlin. That's out. Coy Hill is on deck, but it's doubtful he'll hit. Greg Dobbs has a bat and is ready.
And how about the job Coy Hill has done in handling Alvarez today?
90 feet away is Stanton. Coughlin, a wild swing. And it's 2-2.
Chris Coughlin just needs to think base hit, similar to the type he had back in the 7th inning against Doug Fister.
9 no-hit innings for Henderson Alvarez, but the Marlins need a run. 2 outs, 2-2. Coughlin fouls it off, out of play. No one throwing in the pen, but they're all watching and hoping. What an amazing scene. Another 2-2. And another foul ball. Giancarlo Stanton, Logan Morrison, scoreless game. A no-hitter in the balance. Chris Coghlan, an injury-filled year. Former Rookie of the Year. And Pukonen steps off. Already one wild pitch in the inning sent Stanton and Morrison up one base. Stanton's at third. 2-2. Down low, and Coghlan works the count full at 3-2.
You know that Greg Dobbs has had a watchful eye on Pukonen to try to get any patterns, see how he throws.
Coghlan ready. Pukonen set. 3-2 coming. It's out. They're loaded. And here comes Dobbs. The active leader in pinch hits and pinch hit RBIs comes to the plate with a no-hitter in the balance in Miami. Henderson Alvarez has gone 9 no-hit innings. But the Marlins do not have a run.
And look who has a bat and who's on deck. It would only be fitting that he's able to greet the winning run at home plate.
He's out there for show because physically it's impossible for him to get to the plate.
There's no way.
But you know what?
He's going to get to the plate if Stanton scores.
If you're going to celebrate a no-hitter and not be able to do it from the mound, you might as well be able to do it from the on-deck circle. So here's Dobbs against Pukonen. Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom 9, a no-hitter in the balance. Dobbs check swing, it gets away. Here comes Stanton. It's a no-hitter. Henderson Alvarez. Miami wins it. One of the strangest finishes you'll ever see results in the 5th no-hitter in Marlin history.
Rich, one of the most unique celebrations you're ever going to see.
How many pitchers have celebrated a no-hitter coming from the on-deck circle?
What a way to cap off 2013.
Pukonen bounced it. Pena couldn't block it. And Stanton scores. And the no-hitter is complete. Al Leiter, Kevin Brown, A.J. Burnett, Anibal Sanchez, and now Henderson Alvarez. In what has been a miserable season for the Miami Marlins. A memorable season. And the guy that threw the last no-hitter in Marlins history lingers, watches his fellow Venezuelan complete the 5th one.
And as fitting, the game ended on a wild pitch.
treat for the crowd who came on this last day of 2013. There's the pitch. Pena never got a piece, and there was no question that Stanton would score. And of course, Alvarez is standing 20 feet away in the on-deck circle. And there he goes. I mean, he's celebrating a no-hitter. He has to take a batting helmet off.
He's got to take the helmet off. What a job, too, by Coy Hill, handling Alvarez for the 9 no-hit innings.
And there's Hill to greet him. And the Marlin bench erupts. His wife, she is expecting, and you can see Alvarez. Well, how about this? How about a no-hitter on the final day of 2013? The 5th in Marlins history. He was not dominant in terms of strikeouts, but he was, as far as good swings and solid contact. There's the wild pitch again from Pukonen.
Greg Dobbs doing his best as a coach once he saw that pitch get by to wave home Stanton. There weren't many balls hit hard from the Tigers in this one.
You and I have seen no-hitters. We've seen perfect games. Neither of us have seen anything like this.
An absolute first, seeing a no-hitter end this way.
Let's go down below Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, thank you very much with Henderson Alvarez. Oh, no! Whoa! All right, we'll regroup with Henderson Alvarez. We're live, please, with Joe Espada. And, whoa! Woo! How'd that bath feel?
Cold. Hubo mucho frío.
What a crazy no-hitter this was. Your emotions as you watched it from the on-deck circle.
Tus emociones, cuando estaba en el turno de espera ahí, tu último turno, ¿cuáles eran tus emociones? Mira, las emociones eran que dieran un hit para cerrar este juego con el no-hitter run. Mira, gracias a Dios que se dio con un YP y estoy demasiado contento, demasiado feliz. He was really hoping for a hit. He really wanted a no-hitter, and it happened. And he's really happy. He's super happy, he says.
Henderson, did your mind ever wander to the fact that you might have to go out and pitch the 10th inning?
Si en algún momento pensaste que tenías que ir y lanzar el inning número 10. Mira, yo estaba preparado para todo, estaba preparado para cerrar mi juego y terminar mi juego. Gracias a Dios que lo terminé, lo terminó bateando y mira, gracias a Dios que ese YP llegó obra a Dios y estoy demasiado contento, feliz. You know, he says that he was ready to go back out there on the 10th inning, but he takes that wild pitch. When he saw that ball get past the catcher, he got pumped.
You pitched an unbelievable game. You made some great defensive plays yourself that really helped you out. What were the key moments of the no-hitter in your mind?
Tu jugada defensiva que tuviste en la loma, pero durante ese juego, ¿cuáles tú crees que fueron los momentos importantes para tú obtener el no-hitter? Mira, yo estaba ahí lanzando 100%, todo mi picheo. No quería dejar ningún picheo en la zona de strike alta porque yo sé que son unos bateadores demasiado peligrosos y estaba defendiendo la lomita con mucho amor, con mucho cariño. Quería lograr el no-hitter run y gracias a Dios que me dieron 2 rolls por el pitch y traté de agarrarlo como sea. He says that after he made those couple defensive plays, he was trying to focus on just keeping the ball down. He knew they were going to be aggressive and try to see some pitches up in the zone, try to get some good pitches to hit to break the no-no. But he was trying to defend that pitching mound like it was his. So just excited for him right now.
Henderson, what point did you realize that you had a no-hitter in this game?
¿En qué momento te diste de cuenta que tenías no-hitter? ¿En qué momento te diste de cuenta que tenías el no-hitter?
Mira, yo en la novena entrada, yo pensaba que el juego estábamos ganando 1-0. Yo celebré ese juego como si fuera terminado. Mira, gracias a Dios que no alcé los brazos. Bueno, lo ponché y gocé el ponche. Pero yo pensaba que estaba ya el juego acabado en ese inning.
I'm glad that he brought that up, but in the 9th inning, when he struck that guy out, he brought his hands up, and he thought we were winning 1-0. He thought he nailed it then, but then when he realized he's no score, then he really started cheering for 1 run.
Earlier in the game, 5th inning, 6th inning, 4th inning, did you know the whole time?
En cualquier momento, sabía que en la quinta, sexta entrada, sabía que tenía el no-hitter.
Sí, mira, yo de que salí del juego, salí enfocado, salí a hacer mi trabajo. Salí a terminar un juego de oro. Mira, gracias a Dios que lo terminé de una manera extraordinaria. Y yo sabía que estaba lanzando unos hino runs y estaba enfocado en todo mi picheo, en el aire y en todos los picheos.
Yeah, he really wanted to finish strong. That was the most important thing today, but he really, like in the 5th, 6th inning, he knew it was going on, and he was just trying to keep his pitches down.
I don't know if we have the video here, but there was a great moment shortly before this interview. You walked over, you kissed your wife, baby to be. Tell me about that emotion.
Está hablando del momento que acabaste de caminar y diste un beso a tu esposa y al bebé que viene, que eso, que expresa un poquito esas emociones.
Bueno, mira, esta es la familia mía, la familia que viene en camino. Y es una familia que estoy esperando ahora. Y mira, contento de que ella esté aquí conmigo. Quisiera que mi familia estuviera aquí conmigo, pero no lo puede estar. Y bueno, yo se lo dedico también a mis padres, a mi familia, a todos.
You know, he's just excited that happened in front of his wife and the baby to be. He wishes his parents were here, but they're not. But he's just happy that his family is here and he's able to share this moment with them.
How emotional are you?
¿Cómo de emocionado está? ¿Cómo de emocionante este momento?
Mira, contento de todo pitcher que le lanzaba unos hino runs, un perfect game. Mira, gracias a Dios que lo lancé precisamente el último juego de la temporada. Me siento contento, feliz. Yo mismo no lo puedo creer.
It's one of the pitchers. He says he's one of the pitchers' dreams is to have one of these in their career, and he's happy that he was able to finish the season here in that way for us these seasons.
A lot of cold water, and I could see the tears of joy. Congratulations, Henderson. Joe Espada, thanks as always for interpreting. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you. Henderson Alvarez, wow, what a incredible moment, as Tommy mentioned. You never see this in Marlins history. It's a first, the way this no-hitter unfolded, number 5 in team history. Rich?
All right, thank you, Craig. What a day. What a finish. How unique was this? As the Marlins beat the Tigers. A no-hitter for Henderson Alvarez.